Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Pokehog here. I know it's been a while since I made my last video. It's probably been a good few months now. Last year it was an unboxing video, one of those Scarlet and Violet sets. But today I want to come back and hopefully do more unboxing videos and hopefully more topics about the market maybe and just the Pokemon TCG news in general. So I have a new setup ready and I bought some equipment on Amazon, so hopefully that comes soon and I can start making those unboxing videos for you guys again. But anyways, the topic of today's video is going to be about grading. Specifically, the whole PSA drama that's going around about the Deoxys card. Now, I'm sure you've seen loads of videos about that on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or even Reddit. And this topic has probably been blown out of the water recently. But I want to kind of give my 2 cents about it. So someone had recently graded a Deoxys card from the 2004 movie promo. This card had got a PSA 10. Now this card is it's actually a really cool card. It's a lenticular card. So if you don't know what a lenticular card is, it's basically a kind of 3D card model where you move it at different angles and it'll change the shape or the design of the card itself. So I'll put up a video of someone showing off this specific Deoxys lenticular card to you now. But this card had been graded a PSA 10 and this man had wanted to reholder a PSA. From what I understand, reholdering process, you don't actually regrade the card again. You just basically re-slab it. If your slab for the card had been damaged in any way or chipped, you can send it back to PSA and they'll just put it into a new plastic holder or slab for you. Now this card had been going for, at a PSA 10, it was a market price currently $45,000. There hasn't been many of these cards that have been actually graded a PSA 10 in the past, but from the recent sales on February 22nd, 2026, it was $45,000. And then if you keep going back, there's one July 23rd, 2025, June 17th, 2025. They were $15,000 and $10,000. So recently it was sold for $45,000. Now the reason why this case has been blowing up is because PSA had reholdered the Deoxys card. However, they had sent it back to this person with a PSA 6 instead of the initial 10 that it was graded. Now you can imagine, even with modern cards nowadays, if you had a PSA 10, and let's say you wanted to get it reholdered and then it accidentally came back as a PSA 9, even with modern cards nowadays, the price difference is still major. So you can imagine what the vintage card, a card from 2004 would be like in this scenario here. So I'm just reading off the post here on Reddit. The fair market price valued was $20,000. I'll get onto this fair market value price as well, because this is kind of inaccurate. As I just said a few seconds ago that, you know, this card has been recently valued at $45,000. So it says here the original PSA 10 price for the card at fair market value would have been $20,000, and the current PSA grade 6 that he has now, fair market value is $750. Now I don't have to be a mathematician to tell you that is a massive decrease in profit margin. Like, that is insane. $750 compared to $20,000. I'll get onto this topic now, because the fair market value that they calculated, that PSA wanted to give back to this person at a PSA 10 rate, is completely inaccurate, as the recent sale, as you've seen here, was February 22nd, 2026, and that went for $45,000. Where did they get this $20,000 out of? PSA decided to evaluate all the cards that were sold throughout its lifespan and compile it together and get the average, and somehow they rounded it off to an even $20,000 price range to offer back to this person, which is very, very strange, because no one would ever do that. If you go to a card show, or if you wanted to buy a card on the market at the moment, you would be seeing the prices at that current price point at that current time. So the fact that PSA, even if it's a card that's hasn't been sold that many times, PSA decided to compile all the prices of this card that was sold in the past and divide it by the amount of cards that were sold, is actually crazy, and then offering it back to the person. Like, I can imagine that with all the PSA kind of bad news that's been going around with them in the last few years, I can imagine that even when this man had got his card back and he saw that it was graded PSA 6, they probably didn't even notify him, to be honest with you, because there's been loads of cases. Now, I get it. PSA is a massively global grading company, and they've recently acquired Beckett's last year as well in 2025. Look, and I get it. PSA have so many cards that are being sent into them worldwide every single day. There's millions and millions of cards that they have to grade, and they're probably short on staff too. like the turnaround times, I remember years ago when the boom started happening again for Pokemon collecting, it was huge. Like the turnaround time, it was months. Even if you paid for the fast, whatever it was called, fast service back then, it was still months in advance until you actually got your cards back graded. So I get it that they do have a massive pile up to deal with and they're busy, but it's kind of, at the end of the day, it's about how you handle it. A major company like them, the top grading service in the world, and again, I say this because when I went to the London card show and the Dublin card show, even when I was trying to sell Beckett's cards, they only wanted, people would only buy Beckett 10s or CGC 10s, to be quite honest with you, at card shows. They're not willing to buy anything else other than a 10 if it's Beckett's or CGC that you have graded cards with. Now if it's PSA, it doesn't really matter. They'll look at 9s, 10s, 8s, they'll still look at them, but it's just, that's why I say that they are still the top grading company, and I think everyone knows that anyways, regardless. They are the top grading company in the world, and I don't think that's ever going to change, unfortunately, even though cases like these happen. And it's, again, it's the way they choose to handle it. It's a bad image of them, you know. It really throws away the trust of people that want to actually grade their cards with PSA. I'll read the email that this person had gotten back from PSA about this case. That just annoys me even more about PSA and their whole authenticity and trust towards their customers. So it says here, should you choose to accept the offer due to the offering being over $500, we would need you to sign a standard release agreement. If you approve the resolution as offered, you would receive an email link to DocuSign to review and sign the agreement. Please be aware that should you accept the settlement offer, our standard settlement agreement includes a confidentiality provision. Any public disclosure of the settlement offer may result in our rescinding the offer. Once again, we do sincerely apologize for the circumstance and we are here for you. Right, so basically, it's almost like a DMCA where this person cannot disclose this whole settlement deal, and if they do, they'll rescind the offer. I'm actually so glad that this person had decided to disclose and just show the public about this whole case, because this is a major case for PSA to be dealing with right now. And the fact that they kind of put on this whole confidentiality provision is just, it's just pointless. Like, this is such a major case. It's gonna be leaked. People are gonna know about it some way, somehow, even if this person then never even showed these emails or statements to anyone online. Okay, so at the end of the day, PSA is still the biggest grading company in the world at the moment for cards, for any TCG, I should say. And basically, this is just a bad way to deal with such a major case like this. I don't want to make this video for too long, and I don't want to rant about it because I've ranted about it loads to other people in the past about it. I just don't want to do it on video. I'll probably make a separate video about it completely. Some key points to take away from this video is, one, that they offered the difference between a PSA 10 grade and a PSA 6 grade, which was $19,000, $250. This is just bad because they decided to compile the values from past sales and then give that whole data, which somehow came out to $20,000. I don't even know if that's true or not, because they probably just rounded off a figure and decided to give him that because it's less than half of the initial PSA 10 value, which is $45,000, which was sold recently. So that's obviously a bad move on them. And the second point is that they decided to make a disclaimer to this person that if he decided to disclose this information out publicly, that they will rescind the offer, which is just crazy to think that if he had even whispered a word about this whole case, again, this is a massive case, that if he even whispered a word out to the public, that they would decide to take this whole offer away from him. So that's just a really awful look again for their whole company. And the third point is that they're PSA. Look, they are the biggest company. I'm not going to say this again. They are the biggest company for grading TCG cards all around the world right now. Like, so many millions of people rely on them for hundreds and thousands, if not millions, of cards that they send into them every single day. So the fact that they have machinery, I'm assuming, and some sort of AI and obviously experienced graders in the field to evaluate the actual grade of these cards, you know, the fact that you're just getting a card reholder from a PSA 10, then it drops accidentally down to a PSA 6 just from damage is just, yeah, that's crazy. If it was a machine issue or if it was an actual grader that accidentally ruined the card down to a PSA 6 is crazy. Again, I said earlier that I understand that they're busy and they have millions of cards that are sent into them to be graded every single day, but that is crazy, you know, like that's a massive jump, 4 grades down, like from a PSA 10. Now, I've seen a lot of people that have made videos about this, and the whole comments that are on these on this Reddit post as well, it's like, this man should lawyer up, and rightfully so. I can't really say much. I'm not a lawyer. I don't study law. I'm not into law. I don't know anything about it. In America, I'm assuming there's a lot more cases about this whole sort of stuff as well, compared to in Europe, especially Ireland. So I don't know. Maybe this guy should lawyer up and bring PSA to court about this whole thing, because this is probably the worst way to handle it ever from such a major company like them. This whole case is just nah. All right, guys, I won't ramble for too much longer about this whole case, but yeah, that was basically it. The whole PSA Deoxys scandal that's going on at the moment. Leave a comment down below if you think this man should actually lawyer up and take this whole case higher up in a legal action. Again, this is just throwing away people's trust, the general public's trust with grading with them. People rely on PSA so much for grading cards that hopefully it's a big eye-opener, and hopefully people will start to understand that grading with PSA can come with major cons rather than just a huge profit margin that you'll get back if you get a good grade. Because even for Europeans now, for us, we can't even grade with PSA. We still need to go through a middleman at the moment, because PSA, as of last year, are not taking any submissions from Europe or anywhere outside of America, I should say, because of the tariffs. So it's already hard for us because we still have to source a middleman out to do it for us and then pay the commission on top of that. We also have to worry about the damage that could potentially happen if we send it off too. I kind of talked about that in my Beckett's return video, if you've seen that, because there was a major issue with the postage for me. But there's already huge risks about sending off cards to get it graded, never mind the monetary value that comes with it. Essentially, if you send in a vintage card like this, and this similar case happens to you, it's just, you can see how they handle it this way. I don't think anyone would want to deal with them ever again if this is the response that you get back from them on a card that you get graded from PSA 10 to a PSA 6. I hope this man hopefully finds consolidation, and hopefully he has some sort of answer towards the general public about this whole case soon. So yeah, stay tuned for unboxing videos soon, and hopefully some more Pokemon TCG market topics as well. See you guys in the next one.